Okay, but speaking of Reanimator, so this is something I think we really needed to get to. This is quantum Gorios, I guess. There's a lot of different ways you can build this, but I think simply put, Quantum Riddler is a big modern staple. It goes in Ephemerate decks. Maybe the best Ephemerate deck is Gorios and not the Blink decks that we're seeing a lot of. In fact, we played against a version of this that was a little bit different earlier. But I think it's interesting to have this big secondary angle of attack where you have Phelia Overlord, you have Phelia Riddler, you have Psychic Frog, in addition to a lot of premium interaction like Force, Prismatic Ending, Solitude. You have your Ephemerate plan, while you can also go way over the top of any opponent with the Goryo's Atraxa plan too. Um, I ended up choosing Kiora as my secondary discard enabler for Atraxa. This is a card that I like and I think is a little bit underrated. Also helps with that plan B, but it also goes better with the Flicker plan than something like Jace does. Also, I hate that Jace just does not let you discard anything if you don't untap with it. I've always been a big hater of that. I did decide to go with Phelia over Emperor of Bones. I would really like to play Emperor of Bones. I feel like the list is a little tight. It's possible you could play them over the Prismatic Endings, but then your white card count for Solitude is low. You need Prismatic Endings in the 75 usually to target Graveyard Hate anyways. Yeah, I don't understand playing Jace either. But I think I'm also just kind of okay. I'm okay just being a little bit slower, a little bit grindier. I think it's really important to play Force of Negation also, so that when you're drawing all of these cards, you're not just super cold to combo matchups. I think that this deck is just too slow without like Thoughtseizes or Force of Negation. So I think we got to play the Forces in this build. Force is always also really good in Gorios usually because you can Gorios with Force up, or you can Atraxa it into Force and hold it up also. Really nice that Atraxa pitches to everything. I did decide to cut the Gristlebrand because we're less in on the Gorios plan compared to other builds we've played in the past. What about a Persist Unearth build of similar? What are you talking about? That's a whole different deck. I guess that's what you're talking about. But the idea is like we're playing Riddler. I don't think we should be trying to go down the Unearth route. I guess you could persist Riddler. I suppose you could persist Overlord, but I think it's better to play them with Phelia and Ephemerate. And then Atraxa pitches to everything is a huge deal too, which you can't do that with Archon of Cruelty. You could likely cut one Riddler. I am just so high on Riddler, I'm not super interested, but I agree that you could if you wanted to play. You could do that. Though I kind of expected Riddler to like completely replace Ketchamos. But maybe there's an interesting dynamic against the Graveyard Hate versus the Gorios plan. Okay, keeping this on the draw. What, persisting a Riddler? Yeah, I think that it's just better to be on the Gorios plan. I do understand. Ooh, Graveyard's a Cling to Dust. Good for them. But I think we already have the Riddler enablers. I don't think that also having persist is that important, but it would be powerful. I mean, maybe just you could play if you're gonna play persist, you would maybe just not even play the big stuff. Just kind of an interesting angle. Isn't Scholar better than Kiora in this build? So Scholar is better card advantage, but Kiora can attack and make it 8/8. So I don't know. Like I really value the backup. Like one thing that's great about Kiora is that if your opponent has like a Nile Spellbomb or a Thraben Charm, I guess Thraben Charm kills Kiora sometimes, but if they have like single use Graveyard Hate, a lot of times the threat of attacking with Kiora makes them use it, and then you're kind of free to. Dude, my opponent is Gherkin. The opponents have been really cool today, but you're free to Gorios because you force them to use the Graveyard Hate is something I like about Kiora a lot. So I don't know. Scholar is definitely an interesting thought. I'll say that to me it does seem like we're good on card advantage for the most part. I know that to some people, even saying that the notion that you could be good on card advantage makes you sick. But I think that we have about as much as we need. Hmm. I think I should probably pitch the Atraxa. I've got the Phelia for the Riddler, and I think I need to be good against second Unearth here. Yeah, I do have a second Phelia now. So, what are they doing with this Gurk? Hopefully find out. I think this is a value Gurk. We had persist with Bulge to be better than Riddler since it goes to the yard. It's hard to be better than Riddler. I don't know. I encourage you to play Riddler and not overthink it too much. This card is insane in Ephemerate deck, so this is maybe the best Ephemerate deck. It's interesting that they chose to put the Goyf in the graveyard though when they have Active Frog, and they could make it like a 9-power creature. They play an Oculus. Start off with the Riddler. Maybe should have discarded cards in response though. See, so I can, I think, somewhat comfortably not. Well, I guess the question is, do I fly the frog or not? Yeah, I don't really like the idea of them chumping it. Yeah, I don't think we're supposed to discard 3 before, just to get the extra card, when we can still kill the Oculus if they block it, and then still draw 2 end of turn. Because I might want to replay my Phelia. I don't really know if I want to discard the Scorios either. Yeah, I think I'm just going to not discard my whole hand here. I think I'm going to prioritize resolving the Phelia also. Have Force of Negation still up. Riddler blocking Oculus, of course, still really, really nice. They got 2 cards in their hand. They play a... So they're a Green Sun Zenith build. And they have a Gurk as a 1 of Green Sun target, and they have this to enable their Cosmogoyf. We're looking for Atraxa, we're looking for Solitude, we're looking for Ephemerate. I could Goryo's Kiora, and I could make an 8/8. I could also draw extra card, maybe? They have no cards in their hand. I don't know that we need this Force of Negation. I think I'm down to keep it on top. An 8/8 isn't even good on this board. Yep. Oh, right. They do have the Keen-Eyed to stop Goryo. Although we could Phelia the Keen-Eyed Curator. Right, so we'll go discard Atraxa, discard Prismatic Ending. Go to combat. Attack with just Phelia. Attack with the frog too, and fly it. Seems okay. Well, I'm not going to get the extra draw. Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to thin a little bit and get my fountain so I can be a little bit more likely to find Ephemerate. Thanks, Atraxa. Okay, all 4 Ephemerates. I guess we'll take that, Solitude, and Basic Island. And then we'll let them go to... Well, wait. No! What? Sorry, I'm not sure how I did this, but I selected no cards on accident. So annoying. Literally, what button did I even click? I just said no instead of done. Yikes. They are an unearthed deck. I'm gonna shake that one off. Did I click on the left one also? Like this happens sometimes. Like sometimes the UI is like on the left is the yes, and sometimes it's on the right. I just clicked no. Okay, I don't know. I don't know. Embarrassing. I think we play one Force, one Surgical. They should be playing Green Sun. After seeing all the low jump creatures bring a Wrath. Not these low jump creatures, I think. Like their creatures are really weak to Solitude and Prismatic Ending, and they're just kind of slow in general. And their creatures are sometimes smaller than mine. It asks for instance. You want to take no? Yeah, I'm not sure what happened in my brain, but something definitely short circuited. Yeah, I agree. Like the done and no thing has tripped me up before. I mean, it's just my weird brain, I think, more than anything. Right, on the play. Mulligan. Keeping this. Hoping they play a 2-drop so we can just scam our Riddler into play. Oh, another thing is you can Goryo's Phelia. I forgot to mention that in the deck tech also. Well, now we got 2 things to scam, so let's see if they have another piece of 1-mana interaction here. With Reanimator, I used to think, man, if only unbanned Goryo's or unbanned looting. I didn't see it coming. That I wouldn't. Yeah. We did have some Mardu builds that were like kind of viable, but the I think Frog is just better than Faithless Looting, which is pretty crazy. All right, well, let's see if this works. Can't get down to 1 card by playing a land. All right. So they also get a Hedge Maze. The Graveyard a Rumble. Hopefully they have an Unearth hand. They flip Vexing Bauble, Breeding Pool, Kaito, Rumble. I'm so over this card. I think this card is so bad. It's the kind of, I just think it's the kind of card people really want to be good. It's like so embarrassing against Boros. It's so embarrassing against Affinity. It's like there's just so many better options, I feel. Kaito hater. That is the card they chose. Did yesterday's prediction not get paid out? Let me check. I guess not. We did 3-2 the last league. It's the only chance you have against the Black White X as Merc. I don't know. I don't think that I think the card is not even particularly good in that matchup. You know, I think that matchup is really, really bad for you, and Kaito is like a little security blanket. But I mean, I would be more interested in playing Orcish Bowmaster. Like that card's really good against them now. Like, like just anything else maybe. I just think that matchup's going to be bad for you almost no matter how you build it, and I am not a big believer in the mediocre 3-drop security blanket. Kaito's really strong. I disagree a lot. I'm glad that you like Kaito, but I think Kaito sucks. I've played Kaito. Like I've played with the card. I think there's so many better grindy cards in the format. Like I straight up think Kaito is worse than Archmage's Charm. I do think I'm going to Solitude the Manifest token, although I get an extra card if I flicker the Riddler. Seems like just, if that's a scary creature, then that could be pretty bad for me. People really underestimate the 2-stun cards. I guess I had a very negative experience after playing it in many matches. I just think that I just think the card is really not it. Versus black white, it's constant card advantage engine. That's a clock. I mean, I don't think that the card is bad against black white. I do think that it is you have a bad black white matchup despite playing this card, which is that is a different thing. Like I think playing Kaito does not give you a good matchup here. The card I do think is actively bad against maybe every other deck in the format besides Flicker. Like it's good against like Control, but it's bad against Titan and Tron and Storm and Boros and Affinity. It's like it just seems so weak and Goryo's. It just seems so weak in all of these matchups. And I know that you know it can feel bad to be bad in the grindy matchups, but I'm a certified Kaito hater, and I'm not I will have no change of heart today, probably. They're going to chump block the Phelia again because I'm going to Solitude the Manifest again. I haven't had this big a Phelia in a while. Draw 2 off the frog. Can I have Atraxa back? For Shaka, I've come to bargain. Go to game 3. Watch roll trophy with the Jun Gorios. Cool. They boarded in Endurances. I think I'm going to play Subtleties. Seeing that's their graveyard hate of choice. Control Freak has been running Kaito heavy list has performed pretty well. I know people do well with it. I'm saying I had a really negative experience with Kaito. All I could do is share my experience. So I'm going to take Solitude or Frog, I imagine. They've got their own Frog here. Value. Not the best draw, I guess. So we're both gonna have 5 cards to discard. I'm definitely down to eat everything away, I guess. And if they do have a removal spell, it's really bad, but we could try drawing Prismatic Ending, Solitude, Quantum Riddler, or Gorios, I was going to say, but then they have the Ghost Vacuum for the Gorios, so not that one. We also need the Prismatic Ending this Ghost Vacuum before they get to 6 mana. Potentially that's easier said than done, but they missed a land drop, so maybe just easy actually. I'm gonna attack. Expect no blocks here. And then I played my land first so that I could try to surveil before we draw. This is worse if I draw Riddler, I guess, but so be it. All right. When do I might even like ephemerate the frog and block. Could have jumped instead. Oh, jump the sorry. Yes, I should. You're right. I should have exiled for my yard there. Wonder if fourth Phelia over Kiora is valid. I would be a lot closer to playing third Kiora just because we are a little light on discard enabler. This is a bit of a weird line, but I really don't want to tell them I drew the Solitude. Do I want to start discarding cards? I don't think so. I want them to play another creature into my Solitude Ephemerate is what I want. Which they just never do if I cash it in. I made some good lines this game and one embarrassing misclick, but I guess I'd rather misclick and make some good lines. I did mess up against the vacuum though. Try to stop them from getting my Solitude, I guess. Not that we're very likely to win if they activate the Ghost Vacuum anyways. Maybe we could still. Okay, we'll be able to hopefully Prismatic Ending it unless they have the Thoughtseize. Although this turn will hold up Subtlety. Probably. Maybe if I drew like Frog? But yeah, I think we should hold up the Subtlety this turn. Goras are just a value deck. Yeah, we're just kind of a bigger value deck than the normal Blink, which it makes it so hard to sideboard against decks like ours. We just have like, we're just a normal Blink deck too. If they find another Frog, I'm definitely hoping that that's what they grab instead of one of the lands. They do choose one of the lands instead. And they play it tapped and then they pass. Dress Down does not stop Warp, no. Oh, I guess I lost my... Oh, this is a Marsh Flats. I can't get the green-blue surveil land. Well, that's a good draw. Any scenario board out Goras Atraxa. Yeah, I think that could happen. I like the thought of trying to do that some today. So we need to Prismatic Ending this turn because they have 5 mana. And then do I leave up... I think I leave up Ephemerate instead of tapping out for Kiora. I only have 2 cards in the graveyard too, so... Do you have Atraxa or Exuberant? I have Atraxa, and in the future you can type !deck and go to the Mox field and see what's in the list. Download the extension too. Wait, is this what it's like to be facing Cosmoglyph? I'm usually the one casting Cosmoglyph. Yeah, I think at the catcher most setting out the combo can be good. No, we didn't get to resolve a flash fire yesterday. There any good 4-color decks in Modern? There's Domain Zoo. Some like probably some Omnath builds that are a little underdiscovered. They rumble over Undercity Sewers, Force of Negation, Push, Rumble. It's a lot of non-creature spells to be playing in your Rumble deck, or non-permanent cards to be playing in your Rumble deck. The current link. Okay. Oh, sorry, I forgot to update the box field. So that'll the list is in there. I just didn't reset the deck when we switched. It was like Spike. Yeah, I do rarely play against Zoo. I think it's like still listed number 2 on Goldfish for Modern right now, which surprises me that it's that high. I guess this deck is technically 4 colors, but because you can hardcast Atraxa, but it's I would say that this is a 3-color deck, truthfully. I guess we just play Third Frog and hold up hardcast Subtlety still. Hard to imagine they've got too many like Damnation-esque cards over there. Was Ketchermos a consideration? Not really. I Ketchermos is really only good with Frog in this build. I think it's way too easy for it to do nothing. Another thing too is like the Kioras, we need the Kioras to have discard outlets, and they also like synergize well with it. You can Goryo's Kiora, and you can Flicker Kiora with Phelia for value. So I just feel like it's better than Ketchermos in almost every way. But yeah, I think that you must play something that else that discards Atraxa besides just trying to mill it over with Overlord and have it discard to Frog. You need a little bit more. You don't need a lot more. But you got to be disciplined with that, I think. Seems like it's kind of interesting. Ever thought about Jund Reanimator with Lawless Troll instead of Psychic Frog and Rumble? I can't say I've thought a lot about it. Okay, Titan's usually a good matchup, thankfully. Like, Psychic Frog is like, it's just the leagues between Psychic Frog and maybe I should have Force and Prismatic Ending. And Prismatic Ending when this came down. Although I just think saving Force for Scape Shift could be so good. Oh, they're bouncing the okay. Guess that worked out then. Yeah. If you're playing Thoughtseize and Push, I agree that the Black Surveillance makes more sense. Like, yeah, it's just like Frog is like so much better. So it's like you do get Faithless Looting, and I do like Faithless Looting, but me, it doesn't seem like where you want to be. I'm gonna graveyard this. I probably should have got blue-white because we have the swamp, and now we can't really hardcast Force. I don't. They're gonna get an amulet off of the saga, so I think I just try to save Force for Scape Shift. Maybe this speeds them up by 1 turn. They rumble over Aftermath Analyst, Summoner's Pack, Splunking Arbor. So they have to take Arbor or Analyst. Oh, so I guess you could also take the Splunking. I don't know why I thought that wasn't on the target. Seems like that's what they're thinking about. Also, they have Green Sun in their deck if they're playing Arbor. They do choose Arbor. Interesting. Would not have expected that. I guess we can tell they're Landlight because they played the Gruul Turf on turn 2. They almost definitely like just drew the Vestige. Okay, so we'll get rid of Atraxa and then land, I guess. I can next turn attack with the Kiora, respond to the trigger Ephemerate, right? Although I guess no, it doesn't work because it checks when you attack, right? If we Force of Negation this turn, then we have the 8/8 coming down. Although just Ephemerating the Kiora, digging for Goryo's has probably some merit. They play the Dryad Arbor. Resolving 3 mats in Agree format was also kind of tough. Yeah, I guess so. Okay, so maybe we're going to be Solitude Ephemerating next turn. It does not seem like they have any more lands in their hand, by the way. Goryo's would be a good draw. What's kind of funny about Solitude Ephemerate right now is that it doesn't actually put another card in the graveyard. Yeah, I think we can afford to just pass. I don't like they don't seem like they have another land in their hand at the moment. Maybe they're sandbagging. But I might get to Solitude a Titan. I haven't seen Expedition map in a while, so the amulet doesn't do anything because there's Spelunking already in play. 3, 4, 6. Maybe I was keeping them off 6 mana if I killed the Arbor, but I mean, I always hate to like, oh boy, I hope my Titan opponent doesn't just draw a land. We do have quad Subtlety in the sideboard. This is not only for Titan, but you also, I think, want some against Blink, and they're also really good against Neobrand, which has been kind of popular lately. So they do get a Lotus Field, which kind of makes Solituding the Dryad Arbor a little bit interesting, right? Because then, yeah, let's let my stutter's been so bad lately. Let's let this trigger resolve first. They're going to bounce the Vestige, I imagine. They return the Lotus Field. So if I think I should just kill the Dryad so they can't cast another Titan. Kill the Dryad and maybe I kill Dryad and Dryad Arbor. This way, they have to sacrifice one of the Gruul Turfs. And then I can rebound the Ephemerate and hit this, maybe? Yeah, I think that's interesting, making them kill a Gruul Turf here. You still get to deal with the Titan. Did they not have a land drop? They played a land this turn. I thought. Or, sorry, am I misremembering? I am. At the very least, they have the Grazer. I thought they played one land. Oh no, they have not played a land yet. Okay, so they can still play the Lotus Field, but they Grazer it into play. And they're gonna have to sack these two. The Aftermath Analyst is in the graveyard at the moment, by the way. They have 7 mana. Escape Shift doesn't seem too good right now. So they're gonna Green Sun. Okay, so we force the Green Sun. And then I don't think we just let the Ephemerate rebound deal with the Primeval Titan. Alright, then we make it 8/8. Impending Overlord, although... Okay. Let them concede too. Wait, my best friend is trying to learn Amulet. We'll shout out. Alright, I'm going to bring in the Subtleties. I'm going to bring in the 4th Prismatic Ending, I think. Although, I might not end up having the room. I think I want to cut the Overlords, though. I think I might want to cut Phelia's. Seems kind of good. I don't think this is a matchup where you want the Consigns. I think them having Green Sun Zenith, I want the 4th Force, although I don't always want the 4th Force. We now have the extra info that our opponent is a newer Amulet player, so we can maybe bring in some Wraths, although usually I would expect Amulet players to be boarding out on Wraths. I think we can do like 3 Pending, 2 Wrath. Yeah, winning game 1 and then boarding in 4 Subtleties is pretty nice. Yeah, I think we played that one pretty good. You know, I wanted to play Quantum Energy on the challenge on Friday, but this build is looking really, really, really nice. So maybe we'll play like a League of Quantum Energy today or tomorrow, and then see what we want to do Friday. I don't know what to do. Well, I'm trusting. A chatter told us that they're new. That we're playing their best friend who's learning Amulet. All right, I'm gonna go pee real quick. All right, our opponent's on a mulligan. Sorry, I'm new to Back to Modern. It's really just good because it's a 2-mana draw that is later a 4/4/5. It's actually a 4/6, but what's really good about Riddler is that you can warp it, and you can flicker it with Ephemerate and Phelia to just keep just like 2 mana, have a 4/6 flyer that drew you 2 cards, or more cards if you were lower on cards in hand. I'm gonna try to clean this up with the Wrath Disguise. I might end up regretting this not being a prismatic ending, but don't think I want to force the amulet here. I probably should try to use the force aggressively though, like if they play a Rumble or a Explorer, maybe. If they play a Spelunking, I should probably force so I could try to wrath them off of interaction. Yeah, I think this is a force. They also only have 3 cards in their hand. And this just makes it to where it's kind of, even with the Lotus Field by itself, they couldn't cast a Titan next turn. Although, let's just, better safe than sorry here. Yeah, the drawing extra also plays really well in a deck like this that plays so many pitch spells. And they pick up the Vestige. Card advantage. Yes, please. Although I do keep not I keep saving my Marsh Flats as my last fetch, and then I keep not being able to get my blue-green Surveil. Not the biggest deal, I guess. Do you think the Glimpse deck would be good at the moment? How lucky are you? It's always been the question you gotta answer as a Glimpse player. You feeling lucky? I don't think I'm going to discard a Solitude here just for an extra Riddler draw. I think we will just cycle this. Maybe you get lucky and draw Ephemerate. There's only 6 discard outlets in the deck. That plus Overlord. So the Overlord lets you cheat a little bit on the account, but yeah, we are a little low. Alright, good draw. Could be getting a bit more aggressive with the Frog, but I think all of my cards are pretty good. How risky is this to force? Not particularly. I think it's fine. Just want to be 1-for-1ing. Maybe stopping them from getting their woodland online. They bog me. Looking for Atraxa, we're looking for Ephemerate, we're looking for more subtleties. Looks like my archive was already gone. Or Hedge Maze. I always call that one archive for some reason. Yeah, I think I just want to save the Wrath. Like, they could play a Saga or an Amulet. Just keep our cards. Four cards in there, M. Maybe it was right to tap out for Riddler that turn. I don't think there's gonna be too many really wrong answers here. Dried Arbor not looking too good. The one green source hardcast Atraxa in weird game state doesn't come up often enough to warrant it. No, it does. I've hardcast Atraxa a lot of times. I think it does warrant it. And like if you lose it, it's kind of whatever. But I think this is also a format where like hardcasting it's going to come up more often too, where these flicker decks are just so popular and they play a lot of graveyard hate. You just cast the thing because the games go long. Yeah, we're playing the Hedge Maze. It's just not. We just had already surveilled it away. You get Solitude to Titan, I guess. It's a little bit scary. They have to have untapped land plus Titan, and then that's not even doing that much still. The time players usually board out Saga versus Wrath decks. Yeah, I know. My opponent said they're new, or sorry, a chatter said that they were their friend and that they were learning the deck. So I thought maybe it'd be more likely that they have Urza Saga. Maybe it's a psyop, but that is why I boarded at 1 extra Wrath. I think having like a lot of times they won't board out all of them too. Why do you think modern meta changed so much in the past weeks? Is Boros not the best deck? Well, something happened in the past few weeks. Edge of Eternity came out, and there's just like a lot of good modern cards in this set. The best being Quantum Riddler. Do you have a sit stand desk you recommend? I don't know. I got this one from IKEA years ago. I don't know what it's called. It's nice. You can go to IKEA and find one you like. They get a Mirror Pool and a Hand War Battlements. Don't Ephemerate if you draw Ephemerate. Okay. I've not Goryo's Kiora today. I have done that before, though. Probably shouldn't tap all your green mana. Alright. So 2-0. A lot of cards off the frogs. Titan is the third most popular deck, which is interesting. I do also kind of look at the other decks, and I think Titan is pretty good against all these. Besides like Ruby, I think it's good against Boros, Domain, Esper, Affinity. I think it's maybe closer against Grixis. Depends on how much removal they play. Bad against Belcher. I would say Titan is the best deck. Okay, so last seen 7 days ago on Boros Energy. I think I'm going to keep this on the draw and hope that that's what they're still playing. Basic Island Tideshaper. Well, my wish of Solitude Ephemerate being good against them, I guess, is happening. Am I filtered by month or less? I'm not. No, maybe I need to. Yeah, it last 30 days, I guess 14 days. Looks the same, 7 days. Blue-white control, 7 days. Knocking Titan out. I have not seen Merfolk in so long. A lot of really fun opponents today. Right, it's important that we can Solitude Ephemerate another Tideshaper or a... So yeah, we respond to this, I think. Pitch Prismatic Ending. Thankfully, no Subtlety. Let this resolve before there's not a Hexcatcher in play. Then Ephemerate. Then the rebound can snag the other Hexcatcher here. Blue-white being tier 1 is legit my worst nightmare. I think blue-white being popular for a little bit ends up being a good metagame progression. Like, one thing is, like... And Modern really has not been this so long, but it is a good thing when the metagame actively changes, in my opinion. I always greatly prefer a metagame that evolves and grows to one that stays stagnant forever. Quantum Merfolk. Interesting. And so, like, I think control occasionally rising to the top, for me, that's a pretty good thing. We will draw our second land at some point. I'm sure it's in there somewhere. They play a Cavern of Souls. They name Merfolk instead of Sphinx. Don't really want to trade Solitude for Mutavault, I think. Gonna hardcast the Riddler? No, playing a Lord of Atlantis. I think I might get Tishana's Tidebinder if I tap out for Kiora here. So maybe we can bait the Tishana's Tidebinder on the return. I don't think I want the second one. Maybe even counter the fetch activation. Yeah, I mean, I would rather them counter the Solitude return than the fetch. Having control be viable is good to the format to a point. I agree. In Modern, we have been so far away from control being over the line for, like, I couldn't remember, I couldn't tell you the last time, like, it came close to being over the line, in my opinion. I think we are well within our safety range here. Over the line. Chat, market 0. Alright, well, I ain't blocking. Not with that on top. Can you explain why you like that trade? It seemed bad. I wanted them to deploy the Tishana's Tidebinder so I could get blue mana in play, which I need to cast my spells. I have another Solitude and an Ephemerate in my hand, so I care a little bit less about the Solitude that is in play. Not quite dead to an Island Walking Lord, thankfully. I think drawing the Overlord, I just want to have a clear board here too, instead of flickering the Riddler. Maybe that's not correct. Seems okay. I guess they do get to attack with the Mutavault now that they do the land. Did we have Riddlered first to see if we drew a white card so we could keep second Ephemerate? Yes. I do think I'm going to block because I've got the Overlord in my hand, and I can go Overlord, pick up Solitude, flicker the Overlord with Phelia. Riddler and Merfolk, yeah. It doesn't really seem like it's a very good fit there, but the thing is, Merfolk players, they come really close to understanding that the Merfolk part of their deck doesn't quite cut it, so they play all of these non-Merfolk cards to power their deck up, but they come so close sometimes to getting that. And then they just come a little bit short of just playing a different deck. I mean, sometimes Merfolk can be okay. All right, let's grab Solitude back. Yeah, occasionally they're fine, but I like the answer is usually not let me play this new non-Merfolk creature. You know that like I can't remember that ever being the answer to Merfolk being good. Usually just like it is good or isn't it isn't good. At least in my opinion. 26 months and you still come with interesting brews every day. Yeah, it's tough sometimes. Edge has made it a lot easier. Sometimes with like sets like Final Fantasy, it just can get so stuck. But glad you're still liking them. All right, so they bounced the Overlord. A little bit worried about decking myself. Oh, I don't need to be that worried. We also might Goryo's and Atraxa at some point. You mill the Atraxa there. Let me grab a frog. Did you see Momo from Avatar seems busted in the Starfield Shepherd Blue White deck? I think it seems like it could be playable there. It's not really good with Mockingbird because Mockingbird cares about mana spent, so cost reducers matter less. Okay, we are going to get to Goryo's and Atraxa. Also Phelia the Atraxa if we don't find an Ephemerate. I've used a lot of Ephemerates already, although they do have a flare. So boring turn, I guess. I did find the box of hats, but decided to retire them. As it turns out, I hate fun. So we have one Goryo's left in my deck now. Have I played Commander this year? Not this year, no. It's probably been 2 years since I played a game of Commander. Gonna get our opponent down to 7, probably. Yeah, concession lag. Snapcaster or Jace as a 1-of seems nice in the Goryo's Blink Shell to get over your milled Goryos. You would play Emperor of Bones instead, so that you could just pick up like a creature Goryos, I think. I'm a big Jace hater, also. It's like, you have to untap with that card. And it's not the easiest to untap with. And then it is also only good when you untap with it sometimes in like kind of specific-ish situations. Just kind of a Jace hater, Kaito hater. Hater in general. We could try to board out of the Goryo's plan. Feels like we might be a little light because the Force of Negations aren't that good. We would have to play like Consign. So Consign stops Tidebinder ETB, Riddler ETB, Aether Vial if it's on the stack, Subtlety ETB. It's kind of narrow. I do like just dodging all the Graveyard hate they're definitely going to bring in. Jace is good over Kiora because if you mill it, you Goryo's Jace. Because if you mill it, you Goryo's Jace, discard Atraxa, and Goryo's Atraxa. I know that you can Goryo's Jace. I've Goryo's Jace a bunch. To say that it's good over Kiora, like it's just a way more complicated scenario because like Kiora lets you loot. Kiora lets you loot even if your opponent has a removal spell. That's the biggest problem with Jace. You have Goryo's, you have Atraxa, your opponent kills it, and then like in 2 turns you Goryo. Maybe it's just fine. Maybe it's just fine because you Goryo's the Jace and it's the discard outlet. Maybe you're right. Maybe that's what I'm missing. But there's also like Kiora, I like that it pressures your opponent's graveyard hate when it threatens to make the 8/8. I like that it has synergy with the flicker effects. It kind of complements the beatdown plan a little bit more. But you might be right. I think you made some good points. I am kind of scared of Tishana's Tidebinder. I think I want to bait the Tide Shaper though. No MDFC creatures like Witch Enchanter. I mean, we're a 3-color deck, so it's you know, your mana is pretty painful. We also want to play a lot of Surveillance because we're a Goryo's build. We want to play the Hedge Maze. You could play a Witch Enchanter, but we're also a Psychic Frog deck. I think it's just, in general, something I'd like to stay away from. Okay, so let's start off with Solitude, pitch Ephemerate. And then I need to decide if I want to Ephemerate the Solitude or not. I think not. Just Ephemerate the Riddler. And if you feel like there's room for Witch Enchanter, let me know what you would cut to include it. I'm gonna block. I don't know what this is. I'm blocking. Dismember. Okay, sure. Could have maybe sniffed that out. So let's fetch around my opponent possibly having a Tidebinder, sorry. I think I'm just going to try to resolve the Phelia. If their last card's Flare, maybe it would have been better to respond, but then they have no cards in hand, and I have 5th land and all 5 drops, so probably not the worst place to be. Don't think I'm going to block. People in chat have been wondering all day why Riddler's good. Really? I mean, I saw one person say that they were like new to Modern. I've only seen like one comment asking about why Riddler. Riddler is a Modern staple. Welcome to post EOE Modern. All right, let's get a trophy prediction going. Can I explain why Riddler is good? Riddler is the best card advantage engine in Modern. It like ephemerating it and felling it draws you a lot of cards. You can dump your hands with the pitch spells, draw a lot of cards, and it also comes with a 4/6 flyer, which is an incredibly relevant stat line. Dodges push, dodges dismember, dodges galvanic discharge a lot of the time, dodges flage. Any static prison or leyline binding against this. If you can get rid of it, you get the cards back. Maybe if you watched the last game we played, you would have also have seen just how powerful Quantum Riddler is. And, part of this is also that they've banned, Ring, they've banned Beans, they've banned a lot of the, previous title holders for best card advantage engine in the format. There definitely has been a void left in this format for a really good source of card advantage. And Riddler just is, at the moment, the best in slot. GG's David. We're on the draw against Tron. You've got the consigns in the board, and then the Goryo's builds are usually like the Goryo's Atraxa can help you go over the top a little bit sometimes. Do you think these Tron decks are a solid answer to Esper piles? Yeah, I think Tron is typically good against Esper. Well, Astrolabe wasn't a card advantage engine, it's a Opal and Domain Enabler or Blood Moon Enabler. Trinisphere is a good grab. Still gonna scam Riddler. We're a little flooded here. Let's see. We get some more draws though. And my opponent's got Tron, so not feeling too optimistic. Has the Affinity craze fallen off? Yeah. Kind of predictably, if Affinity is popular, there are a lot of tools in the format to hedge against it. I did really like our blue-red build. Our blue-red build was, I think, the most resilient of all the builds we had, but yeah, I think again, kind of predictably, Affinity can never remain at the top of the format because of all the hate that exists for it. Okay, so I think I'm interested in keeping a couple Prismatic Endings. I don't think I want the full 4. 3 seems like a good-ish number. I think I want to cut the Overlords and some amount of Overlords and Solitudes. Probably just don't need to have any Solitudes if I've got a track. I can just like fly over their Devourers and stuff. So I guess we play Overlord kind of by default. I hate Subtlety against them for the most part. It is okay against Karn though. Yeah, the Tezzeret weapon build. You think Grixis has a home or Riddler has a home in the Grixis Reanimator list? I mean, maybe. You don't have any way to flicker it though, which is always like a huge point against it. This hand has Consign, we have a Looter, and we have Goryo's for Atraxa, and we have a Surveil. I'm gonna keep this. It's a little bit weird, right? But I think this is a good like maybe example of how if you're playing a bad matchup, we're not favored against Tron. if you're playing an unfavorable matchup, keeping a hand with really high upside is important. Like, you're really incentivized to keep these high upside hands. Okay, they exile 4 cards to devour 4 non-lands. That's an interesting point. Ding ding ding. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's better to play the Riddler because I can just surveil for another land and see the same amount. You say you're a hater, but how do you feel about the Spider-Man set? Well, I'm not a hater in general. I hate Kaito and I hate Jace Fred's Prodigy. I guess I'm a little bit sad about the Spider-Man set that the Universe Beyond cards aren't coming to. I can't not believe we just drew both. The Universe Beyond cards aren't coming. I think against them having K command mana up though, I should go for Riddler Ephemerate instead of Kiora. Discard Atraxa. It's just too big a blowout, right? Never ever punish. I mean, I would say that this was just a clear keep, even though it maybe didn't look like it. Again, you are just so incentivized in Magic to keep high upside hands in bad matchups like this. Yeah, they keep a card on they put a card on the bottom. They won't ever be on Moto. So the cards will be, but they're gonna have different arts and different names. They're gonna be intellectually distinct. So, would like to draw land so I could replicate Consign against Ugin. Okay, nice. We are so lucky. And then if we somehow don't need to Consign, which seems unlikely, we could Goryo's Atraxa end of turn. How often does Frog pitch the hand of double draw? A couple times so far. There's a good chance we have lethal next turn between Riddler, Frog, and Atraxa all flying in. This is going to be 11. So I need the Frog to be 9 power. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I need to get 4 cards off the Atraxa plus the card I draw for turn. That's also assuming I don't Consign, so I guess that's asking a lot. It might be tough to one-shot them. Does Karn matter? I think not really. Like, I want to make them spend some mana. Maybe if they get Tormod script, it's kind of annoying, but I don't think we've even shown them that we are Reanimator yet. Riddler and hand could be turned into 2 cards. That's true. 3 extra cards. What's Once Upon a Galaxy? It's a game that LSV and Matt Nass worked on, and we did a sponsor stream for them last week, and I'm still playing it. It's pretty fun. They get a coding. Guess I could sign a coding. Why didn't they do this for both paper and online? I guess they could have another K command that I could play around. They also might be upkeeping the coding activation. Okay, so no longer is K command a worry. But they are probably upkeeping the thing, so we might just be surprising them here, I guess. So okay, discard Atraxa, Goryo is it? We played Marvel. I played a lot of Marvel Snap when I did the sponsor for that too. I played it every day for months, and then one day I just stopped and never picked it up again. But I really like that game too. So they have a response to this. They have a Dismember. Okay, so I guess we discard Kiora Consign Riddler so that this extra Riddler can draw me 3 cards, maybe? So I can try to one-shot them. A little bit scary to discard the Consign, though. I think we're just pretty likely to one-shot. Alright. Okay, we are gonna... I forgot the 4 life from the Dismember. That made it more likely we're gonna one-shot, huh? Alright, I think on the draw, I'm going to play the 4th ending over the 3rd Balemurk, because we do really want to be able to get rid of Expedition Map and sometimes Mind Stones. Where they didn't coding the frog pre-dismember, yeah. Where did they got the coding in general? Outside of Kaito or Karn and Teferi, are there any other relevant planeswalkers in Modern? Maybe you see Grist and Red and 6 every once in a while. You see Narset pop up. Narset's probably a bit better than she is usually too, with Riddler and Affinity. Although Affinity's on the downswing. It's mostly those are the usual subjects. Yeah, Ashiok. Although I don't usually think of Ashiok much like a planeswalker. Yeah, New Tezzeret. New Tezzeret's good. Yeah, if you count Tamio. If you count a Johnny, I usually think of these as creatures more so, but I'm gonna mulligan this one lander. Yeah, I usually think of like creatures on the front side as creatures. Okay, gonna keep this on the draw. They play map, we'll force pitch Kiora. I'll probably force a Mind Stone also. Instead, they just pitch an Ugin and they pass. We are so good at drawing lands. Yeah, I knew that we could do lethal. Maybe we should have played Island. I wasn't really expecting to have to use the Consign this turn. Can I let this resolve? Because like I'm not going to be able to Overlord. I'm not going to be able to answer it very well either, though. It doesn't really seem like Fleshraker is very good in their deck. Yeah, I think I'm just going to prioritize being able to cast my spells. Maybe I'd messed up by keeping the Surveil up. But I don't think I'm that scared of this Fleshraker. Like, their curve is just kind of high. Alright, well, I think we don't want them to take the Overlord, so... Fleshraker, okay, command kills fast. Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of life gain in my deck. I agree this could kill me, but... I think being able to Phelia the Overlord is probably more important. I'm really hoping they play a Karn this turn and I can go Force into Phelia Overlord, maybe mill over an Atraxa for the Gorios. Alright, that was my wish. I guess I could block and I could try to Gorios the Phelia. Let's not do that, but kind of an interesting angle. Alright, so hoping to mill over Atraxa in the top 8 here. Yes! I guess we build over 2. I guess we can grab 1 as like maybe a pitch card. Sorry, I almost didn't Gorios the Atraxa. But now we're gonna, I think, flicker the Atraxa with the Phelia instead of the Overlord. Although, I wonder if there's anything I could draw that would make that not the case. I do think I should take Force of Negation over Consign because I have it up here. And then we'll take Prismatic Ending, and then we'll take a fetch land. Maybe just Godless Shrine. And then probably Frog over Kiora. So, yeah, let's target the Atraxa. Phelia is really nice in this build. Alright, so we do find another Consign, and then we can take Overlord as enchantment, Riddler, Prismatic Ending, Basic Swamp, I think. Probably discarding 1, 2. Doing some thinning. They got 3 cards in their hand. They had 7 mana, so they could play an Ugin and then get rid of Atraxa. Then we could force it. I think we pitched the Frog. Yeah, we already have an Atraxa in the yard. I'm definitely thankful that Ugin didn't end up being as scary a card as I thought it would be. So this turn we're probably Prismatic Ending the Fleshraker, flickering the Overlord, and holding up Consign. Yeah, seems like the line. You need merit to Flahi Flare. I mean, there's merit for sure. I don't think there's room to include a lot of the stuff we're including if like the list is already pretty tight. I'd play Emperor of Bones over it. Probably. You could think about it. Fine. They got one card in their hand. They're gonna probably cast this other Ugin next turn. I guess I just warp a Riddler, see if we draw a land that would let us play a frog. It'd have to be a blue land. Okay. No problems, I guess. Any merit to blinking their token? We just have lethal next turn anyways, so I don't think it seems to matter. Depending the token, they have to draw land for Ugin. I guess. I mean, the Ugin doesn't really matter, so I do think all roads lead to Rome here. We have a Consign up, and they can only cast one spell, so you know we should be fine. All right. Well, not a very good matchup, but we did get him. I do think that the Goryo's plan makes this matchup meaningfully better. I think it makes the Blink matchup meaningfully better. Maybe it makes Boros meaningfully better. I think it's just good. This is maybe just the best Blink build. Okay, this hand is good if we draw discard outlet or mill Atraxa, and we get 5 looks at milling Atraxa. So I think I'm going to keep this one. I think I was watching for almost 90 minutes before realizing it was a Goryo's deck. That's funny. Okay, we're playing for the trophy. My opponent's on a mold of 5. I've been thinking to brew with Riddler, Thundertrap, and Flare. Any thoughts? Well, get brewing, I guess. Let's see. Okay. Oh no, sorry. I forgot I could just Overlord that back. But I wanted to keep it as the discard outlet. Oops. So Meyer Foundry, so probably Mardu Energy. So I have I think it's probably better. No, no. I think we should try to find a different white card. Okay. I guess I say no to a that was weird. So we got a little punished. We could have Goryos'd or Solitude and then we could have Solituded and then been able to pick up the Solitude, but entombing the Atraxa is pretty good. Pretty telegraphed that we have it because we didn't choose to bring it back. My opponent did nothing here. So let's play around cheeky Thraben Charm, I suppose. My energy opponent isn't doing anything turn 2. I'm going to Goryo's now. Hoping to find an Ephemerate, of course. Okay, they just conceded. I mean, you brick on Atraxa enough that you shouldn't just concede to the trigger, but possible that they had the Thraben Charm and that they were a little tilted. We played around it. Okay, seeing Bloodstained Mire, they're a lot less likely to be playing Blood Moon because they're probably Mardu, so I think we can cut the forces. And then maybe one Phelia? Maybe not. I've literally never seen this card Kiora before. We've played it a few times. Kiора's pretty solid. I think she's better in Modern than in Standard. Although I've actually won a RCQ in Standard with a Squirming Emergence deck, I think. I think Kiora was in that. I honestly barely remember the list. It was just the smoothest RCQ I ever played. It just no one played any Graveyard Hate for the most part. Maybe 1 or 2 opponents, and I just drew really well. I just kept putting Atraxa into play, and I didn't really know any of my opponent's decks. I was reading so many cards. Alright, we'll keep this on the draw. Solitude Ephemerate, 2 premium. Bit awkward to have basic Planesfrog though, but we can maybe cycle the Riddler too. Predator Loop, just learning about the set foundations. That's a fun set. Guys, like does not see a Ragavan. I guess if we miss a land, we can discard Atraxa to hand size, but we kind of need it as a white card. We're not all the Pinnacle Emissary decks. Maybe got hated out. I've always said this, or I've said this for a long time, but Affinity just cannot be the best deck in the format for very long. There are too many insane cards against it. It kind of doesn't matter how many insane cards they print. There's just too many meltdowns and Wrath the Skies and Fade into Histories and Culling Rituals and Collector Oofs and Karn the Great Creators and just the whole Titan deck. It just doesn't really matter. Right, well, discard. Why does Mire mean? Yeah, so usually it is Mardu. Mire means Mardu because Boros plays only white fetches for Blood Moon. Oh no, I'm so dumb. I clicked OK really fast because I thought this was going to be a Johnny Ragavan, and I wanted them to not think I had Solitude Ephemerate. Obviously, I needed to Solitude Ephemerate here. I mean, I could do it on my turn, but I'm just like letting them. Do they get Kitty's Blessing? Okay. I was just trying to get too tricky and like bluff something I didn't have. Probably losing anyways to missing all of our land drops, but I was just trying to bluff. I don't know why I forgot about Voice of Victory. All right, they got 3 cards left in their hand. They also have this Ghost Vacuum, which is pretty scary. Another Pride. I think I have to get the Guide of Souls. Solitude against the world currently. You know what? If I wasn't going to draw a land, it was that or Ephemerate, I suppose. Although I really want to get the Ghost Vacuum and the Ocelot Pride. Is Sickening Shoal kind of cool? Sickening Shoal was kind of popular when Fury was legal. Not a moon, just tuned in where the lands. Well, we kept a Solitude Ephemerate hand on the draw against Energy, and then we have not drawn a land. Probably could be attacking with these, just like trade 1 for 6 damage, for 3 damage. Yeah, that's got to be correct. All right, I do think we're dead on board if they send everything. The thing is, we're not winning this game unless we Wrath X equals 1. So I'm gonna hope that they make a miscalc, or maybe that they play around another Ephemerate. Although I definitely don't have Ephemerate because I just played a land. Imagine Winota here. They didn't haste the Spyro. Second Ghost Vacuum. Yeah, pretty sure we're dead. Was Boros a Winota deck all along? Yeah, sometimes they play it. Maybe okay. Like, you do kind of incidentally support it really well, and hitting Seasoned Pyromancer, Guide of Souls, and sometimes like Ranger Captain's fine. It's kind of high on the curve, though. Alright, let's find out if I'm alive. I'm pretty sure I'm just dead. Oh, I go to 1. I guess if I draw exactly Island or Swamp, I can gain through life by attacking with Solitude. So looks like I have 2 outs, which is, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. They also just missed lethal. They could have attacked with the Guide of Souls. Island or Swamp. Ah! All right, game 3. I'd take 2 outs. Right, game 3 on the play. I think I'm interested in the third Phelia on the play. Put down a Kiora. Don't think we're too scared of the vacuums with these 7 cards. Chalk would also work. What is chalk? Oh, Shockland. No, Shockland doesn't work because we would only have 3 life total to pay, so we can't fetch end of turn because we're at 1. We can gain 3 life when we attack. Oh, white shock would. Okay, so we could fetch our basic. You're right. We could have. So we actually had also Godless Shrine and Hallowed. So we had 4 outs. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Do you ever priority in these lists? Not when you do the flicker stuff. There's not close to being room. You have to be a way more spell based focus build. But you can play preordain, yeah. All right, let's keep Wrath the Skies against energy. Although we don't really have anything else. We still dead to Pyromancer attack? That's right, yeah. Forgot that the Pyromancer was in play. Which Enchanter Troll are too hard to the mana? They're pretty tough on the mana, man. It's also like, boy, are Surveillance really good in your Goryo's deck. You know, I feel like a little bit of a broken record sometimes, but that's a great draw. But Surveillance are really good, and every time you add a Witch Enchanter or a Trawler, you are cutting a fetch land that could get a Surveil land, and whatever color you need. If that Wrath was a pest control, you would have been good that game. Maybe, yeah. They flip over a Phelia, which is pretty annoying if they cast it, actually. Although if they have a Ghost Vacuum in their hand, they're going to deploy it. Do I Wrath? I think I'm going to Wrath because they are clearly playing around Wrath, it seems. Maybe they have Thraben Charm up. It's hard to keep getting hit by Ragavan. We have a lot of good top decks, including Goryo's Frog, Solitude, Quantum Riddler, Overlord. Although not so much if they have the Thraben Charm. Wait, one more Secret Wrath for 2. I mean, that's bad if they flip the Ajani. It's tough to just get hit by the Ragavan, you know. They could play 3s. Okay, Spyro. Like Spyro wasn't like, you know, too weak to the Wrath. Or the Wrath wasn't too weak to, or sorry, Spyro, yeah. I don't know. I'm stuttering so much. Okay, I'm gonna play the Frog and hope they can't haste this Flage, although they probably can, which is really bad news. They're also stuttering a little bit. Let's find a Solitude on top. Can you Ephemerate your supposed to draw, get an extra card? Yes. I'm not just dead, am I? 9 plus 4 is 13. Okay, well. Solitude or maybe Riddler into Solitude, but that's probably not enough. I guess it could be enough. Oh, I just noticed they targeted me with the Flage. Why did they target me? Does this change anything? They target me again. So I can block Flage and Ephemerate. And then so I go down to 8, and then I take 3, 4, 4 more, down to 4. Okay, I think that is probably fine. It's maybe worse if I draw exactly Solitude, but I actually don't even know if I have a different choice than to do this. I think I just take too much damage, right? All right. I guess we could draw that plus Solitude. Wrath the Skies also works. Prismatic Ending. I think I'm technically alive. Riddler. I've got outs. And that's not outs. Don't think there's anything we can draw here. Dang, sad way to lose for a trophy. Deck looked good though. Deck look good. Let's run it back.